They told you to be nice, to be agreeable, to give her compliments, to be available, to show her you care. But no one told you what it would cost. Welcome to Solar Love Frequency, where we dissolve illusion and reclaim truth. Not the fantasy of love, the frequency of it. Because if your soul keeps orbiting women who don't see you, then this isn't about love anymore. It's about energy. And it's time to take it back. Let's speak clearly. The modern man is addicted to one thing: her attention, not her love, not her body, not even the relationship, just her attention. A text, a smile, the way she lingers in the room, the way she used to look at you, the way she used to before she pulled away. You tell yourself it's not a big deal, you're over it, you're fine. But deep down, your nervous system lights up like a flare every time she gives you a hit of energy. Because that's what it is now. A hit. Not devotion, not intimacy, just the emotional drip feed of a woman who knows you crave her gaze more than you crave your own soul. But it wasn't always like this, was it? There was a time, before the mother wound, before the conditioning, when your attention was sovereign, when you didn't have to prove you were worthy, when your gaze wasn't a transaction, when you could sit in stillness, in silence, and know your presence meant something, without anyone needing to validate it. But somewhere along the way, your energy became entangled with the need to be seen. Seen by her. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility now. Because as long as your sense of worth is hooked into her reaction, you are not free. You are not whole. You are not the man your soul remembers. Here's the hard truth. For many men, her attention is God. You don't worship her body. You worship the power she holds over your nervous system. You feel high when she's sweet, low when she's cold. You overthink every message. You replay conversations in your mind. You anticipate her mood before you walk into the room. Because somewhere deep in your system, you equated feminine approval with divine love. Why? Because the first feminine gaze you longed for was your mother's. And if she was absent, inconsistent, smothering, or cold, you learned to perform, to overfunction, to manage her feelings, to earn closeness. So now, decades later, you find yourself in the same pattern. New woman, same wound, different face, same ache. You don't want a partner. You want redemption. You want to be chosen. But let's make something clear. You don't need to be chosen. You need to choose yourself. Masculine energy is not meant to orbit women. It is meant to anchor the field, to stand still in the storm, to hold frequency when chaos rises, to be the spine, not the chaser. But when you haven't done the inner work, you become a satellite, orbiting the heat of her attention, hoping it warms you. Just one more compliment, just one more night. But you never feel full, because what you're chasing isn't her. It's a reflection of the little boy inside you who still thinks love is something to win. Let me say it clearly, your power doesn't come from being adored, it comes from being anchored. Now here's where it gets even deeper. You're not even seeing her, you're seeing your idea of her. She becomes the fantasy, the muse, the mirror. You assign her depth she never showed. You imagine her as more spiritual, more wise, more radiant than she ever actually embodied. You don't love her. You love the version of her that you built in your mind to feel safe, inspired, and seen. This is not love. This is projection, and it will always hurt when she pulls away. Because when you're addicted to the fantasy, reality feels like betrayal. But here's the gift, brother. If the illusion is breaking, it means your soul is ready to wake up. You don't have to keep performing. You don't have to keep orbiting. You don't have to keep waiting for her to love you enough so that you can finally love yourself. You are not her reflection. You are not her savior. You are not her child. You are a sovereign field. And it's time to remember. Here's a truth most men don't want to face. She can feel your leak. When you walk into the room with an open heart but secretly crave her validation, she knows. She might not know it logically, but energetically. She feels the contraction, the need, the pull, the unspoken hope that her attention will fill the void. And if she's not fully anchored in her own heart, she will either 1. Use it to gain control, 2. Or pull away and feel unsafe, not because you're dangerous, but because you're not rooted. She doesn't trust a man who doesn't trust himself. She can't relax into a heart that doesn't beat from center. And if she's still dancing in her own unhealed feminine, she will test you, tease you, manipulate you, until you remember you are not here to win her, you are here to remember you. This is not about her, this is about the boy inside you who never got what he needed. And instead of tending to him, you keep dating women hoping they will mother you right this time. But they never do, because they weren't designed to. No woman can love you into wholeness if you haven't met your own wounds with presence. No amount of sex, no twin flame high, no endless conversations about the relationship will ever be enough if your inner son is still waiting for her to rescue him. Let me tell you something most coaches won't. The feminine will never save you. She can meet you. She can soften into you. She can co-create with you, but only after you've met yourself in the place where you used to beg to be loved. That is the solar initiation. Here's where most men slip. They know the pattern. They've read the books. They've watched the reels. They can speak the language. But when she walks in, when she pulls away, when she posts a story, the old ache rises again. You relapse. You spiral. You doubt yourself. Why? Because you haven't yet built emotional sobriety. That's the discipline to not feed the fantasy, to not chase the hit, to not go into energetic submission the moment she withdraws her gaze. You're not weak, you're patterned. You've been looping this dynamic since childhood, and now your body thinks it's normal. But it's not normal, and it's not love. Love doesn't leave you dizzy. Love doesn't starve you slowly. Love doesn't dangle attention like a reward for your obedience. That's emotional addiction, and it's time to break it. Stop asking if she still loves you. Stop wondering if she'll come back. Stop waiting for the moment she sees your worth, because the moment you wait, you've already abandoned yourself. Waiting is not stillness, it's self-abandonment in disguise. The masculine doesn't wait for permission. He remembers who he is. He doesn't chase love. He becomes it. He doesn't demand attention. He radiates presence. He doesn't seek to be seen. He sees, and in that seeing, he becomes unshakable. The solar masculine is not a brand, not a performance, not a posture. He is the man who has faced the ache, felt the grief, burned through the false myths of love, and come out clear. Not cold, not detached, clear. He no longer orbits women. He orbits truth. He no longer worships her gaze. He worships presence. He no longer needs to be the hero in her story, because he's finally the main character in his own. And when he enters a room, it is not to be seen, but to see. He sees through illusions. He sees his own worth. He sees her, fully, clearly, without needing her to be his source. That is solar love. That is the true reclamation. Here's one of the deepest traps. You believe she is the gateway to love. You think her smile, her softness, her affection is the only door through which love can reach you. So you obsess, you fantasize, you compromise, you twist your truth to stay near the doorway. But the real portal, it was never her. It's you. You are the gateway. You are the opening. You are the field through which love enters this realm. When you forget that, you become a beggar outside your own temple. Let's break another illusion. Submission is not love. When you shrink to keep her comfortable, when you silence your truth to avoid her disapproval, when you let her emotions set the temperature of your nervous system, that is not love. That is survival. It is trauma bonding in spiritual clothes. And it's not her fault. She's just reflecting the unhealed wound you haven't chosen to face yet. Real love doesn't require submission. It requires presence. You don't need to submit. You need to stand. From center, not from ego. Many men misunderstand this stage. They confuse sovereignty with detachment. They confuse presence with numbness. So they armor up. They ghost. They stop feeling. But that's not mastery. That's just the inverted wound swinging to the other side. The solar masculine is not cold. He is clean. He feels deeply, but isn't ruled by feeling. He opens, but doesn't collapse. He holds, without gripping. You don't need to be a stoic robot. You need to be clear water, deep, still, and unshaken. That's what invites real intimacy. That's what ends the loop. The cultural spell runs deep. Be the best man. So she chooses you. But that's the matrix of masculine disempowerment. You were not born to perform your worth. You were not made to be selected. You're not on a stage. You're on a path. She is not the prize. You are the path. And the woman who is meant to walk beside you won't need to be impressed. She'll just feel the resonance and rise. If you have to win her, you've already lost yourself. Modern men have been trained to over-communicate. Endless talks, hours of emotional processing, walking on eggshells to keep the peace. But real leadership in love isn't about over-explaining your boundaries or negotiating your truth. It's about living it. Lead with your actions. Lead with your frequency. Lead with your decisions. Not controlling her, not fixing her, but choosing your path and letting that be the transmission. Some women will resist. Some will leave. Good. Because what remains will be real. Let this one hit. The woman you truly desire, the one whose presence calms your nervous system, whose truth challenges you, whose body calls your soul forward. She won't be attracted to the boy you've been. She doesn't want your performance. She wants your presence. She doesn't want your mask. She wants your clarity. She doesn't want to mother you. She wants to walk with you, eye to eye. And that means you must let go of the version of you who needed to be worshipped in order to feel safe. Sometimes she'll test you, not maliciously, but unconsciously. She'll pull away, she'll ghost, she'll give you just enough attention to keep you hoping. And here's the test. Will you chase her approval again? Or will you anchor deeper into your truth field? If you keep following her breadcrumbs, you abandon your throne. But if you stay centered, if you let her go without collapsing, something sacred happens. Your field clears, your presence deepens, your power returns. She might come back, she might not, but you won't be lost anymore. This isn't about blaming her. This isn't about labeling women as toxic, manipulative, or broken. That's just another mask of weakness, the victim's voice in warrior's clothing. This is about seeing clearly. She's not the problem. The loop is. The pattern is. The spell is. You were taught to seek worth through her gaze. You were programmed to worship her validation. But she's just the mirror, a sacred, painful, perfect reflection. The real liberation doesn't come from changing her. It comes from exiting the program. Love in this realm isn't about finding the perfect woman. It's about seeing clearly. No projections, no fantasies, no savior stories. When you stop imagining who she could be, you start seeing who you are. And that's the gift. She was never meant to complete you. She was meant to reveal you. When you stop chasing the dream, reality gets luminous. You stop begging for the light and realize you're made of it. This is the final alchemy. You don't need to be chosen. You don't need to be seen. You don't need her to confirm your value, because your soul is already sovereign. When you choose yourself fully, not from ego, not from defensiveness, but from grounded inner truth, you become undeniable. You don't vibrate need. You transmit wholeness. And in that frequency, the entire field around you shifts. No more games, no more loops, no more giving your power away just to feel loved. You weren't made to earn love. You weren't made to prove value. That's the matrix speaking. That's childhood wounding acting like destiny. Solar love doesn't demand performance. It remembers truth. Solar love is presence, raw, radiant, unshakable. It's a field, not a formula. It's not about getting her attention. It's about being attention itself. When you hold that field, the right woman won't need convincing. She'll just recognize the signal. Let's land it clean. You've spent enough time waiting for her to text back, waiting for her to validate your masculinity, waiting for her to finally see you. But every time you worship her gaze, you forget who you are. You are not a servant of her emotions. You are not a performer for her fantasies. You are not a pawn in the game of being chosen. You are the sun, unapologetic, unwavering, whole. The world doesn't need more men addicted to attention. The world needs men who've remembered their soul. So stop orbiting her approval, start standing in your solar field, and let the real ones feel it. If this hits something in your core, don't just nod and scroll. Let it land, let it work through you, and when you're ready, subscribe to the Solar Love Frequency channel so these reminders keep pulsing into your life, right when you need them. Drop a comment below. Have you ever found yourself performing just to be loved? And remember, you are not here to be picked. You are here to lead yourself home. Welcome back.